everyone, my name's Ali and welcome back to my channel, Mindful Living. Today on Mindful Living, I'm so excited to finally share a brand new gardening series I've been working on, focused on small space gardening. I've always dreamt of having a beautiful lush garden, but living in an apartment, it's often been quite difficult. Regardless, I decided I wasn't going to let a tiny space stop me from growing the garden of my dreams. I've been gardening for a few years now, using containers, and this year I'm adding even more plants than ever. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow along as I give you updates and show week after week how I grow different vegetables with limited space using only containers. Today I'm starting off the series with planting green beans in my outdoor garden. I planted my seeds inside a few weeks ago, which have been growing under a grow light, and they are finally ready to go outside in my garden. Before transitioning your seedling to outdoors, you want to do a technique called hardening off. Make sure to bring the seedlings outside for a few hours each day to slowly introduce them to direct sunlight a week before you plan to officially plant them outside. So here, I'm just going to quickly show you guys how I planted my seed. You're just going to need a little jiffy pod like this. This will decompose once you plant it into the actual container. You don't want to plant the seed too deep in the soil or it will rot. Make sure to give it lots of sunlight. In a few days, it will look like this. You'll start to see the green bean coming up from the soil. And in a few more days, about a week later, it'll look like this. Make sure to always be watering your seedlings, but you don't want to give them too much water, as that will rot the roots. Some important things to remember when planting green beans in containers. First, you want to choose the right size container. Here I have two different options. I'm going to be using the smaller container that's 9 inches deep by 8 inches wide. You also need a good potting soil. I'm using an organic vegetable mix by ProMix to plant my beans today. And you also need to fertilize your beans throughout the growing season to keep them healthy and strong. Today I'm planting bush beans in my garden, so they won't require any support. But if you decide to grow pole beans, you will need a trellis to support the plant while it grows. Typically, beans like to be potted right into the container or the ground, as they don't like their roots to be messed with. Unfortunately, I had to start my seeds inside this year, according to my frost date here in Ontario. If you can, depending on your climate, directly sow your beans into their container to prevent any damages when transplanting. What I did is you can use a peat pellet or a jiffy pot so they'll break down and you can plant that right into your container. Okay, so let's get planting. I'm going to start by filling the container with soil. As you fill it, make sure to moisten the soil starting from the bottom. Move it around a little bit. Keep adding more soil and more water until it reaches the top. You want your soil to be moist, but not too wet. Once it gets to the top, you can go ahead and dig a little hole here. We don't want it too deep, but just deep enough so that we can fit our green bean plant. So here I am just placing my green bean plant into the soil. Push the plant into the soil lightly and cover around it. Pat the soil and add a bit more water. Remember, when placing your green bean outside, green beans need 6 to 8 hours of sunlight and plenty of water, especially when you're growing them in a container. Set a timer or reminders for yourself so you don't forget to keep watering your green beans. As your plant grows, make sure to harvest the beans as soon as they are ready. By doing this, your plant knows to keep producing more beans for you to enjoy. I'll be sure to keep you all updated with a new video later on in the season as my green bean plant grows. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any updates. And stay tuned for my next video in the series to see what I'm planting next in my container garden. Thanks for watching and see you all in my next video.